If you haven't seen the first part of my story, I highly recommend watching it before you continue with this one. It'll give you the full picture.
So, after being sent away from my grandmother's house, my journey took another turn. This time, I was sent to live with my maternal grandparents. I was just a little girl in the first standard, trying to make sense of a world without my parents right beside me. Life was moving forward as it always does, but the ache of their absence was a constant companion.
It was this deep, hollow feeling that never quite went away. My father would visit sometimes, and those moments were a whirlwind of emotions.
The moment I saw him, the floodgates would open, and I'd cry uncontrollably.
I'd cling to his leg, his arm, anywhere I could hold on, begging him not to leave.
I refused to let go, as if my grip alone could keep him there. At night, sleep felt like a risk. I'd force myself to stay awake, sitting silently beside him while he slept, just watching him, hoping to somehow prevent the inevitable morning departure. But he always had to leave.
He would find a way to slip away quietly,
thinking he was sparing me the pain of a direct goodbye. But the result was always the same. I'd wake up to find him gone, and the tears would start all over again, lasting through the night until I cried myself to sleep. Then, one weekend, my father came to visit again.
This time he brought me a gift. It was a doll, but not just any doll. It was a beautiful sleeping doll, the kind that blinked its eyes when you moved it.
It felt so real, so magical. I fell in love with it instantly. That doll became my everything. She wasn't just a toy.
She was my constant companion, my confidant, my little piece of comfort in a confusing world.
My days were spent with her, telling her secrets, and my nights were spent holding her close. Slowly, surrounded by the warmth and love of my grandparents, I started to heal a little. I started to grow up. My aunt, my mother's sister, was another pillar of support. She loved me so deeply, and it showed in everything she did. She became my teacher, patiently helping me with my lessons.
She was my chauffeur, taking me to and from school every day. And she was my playmate, chasing me around the garden and filling my afternoons with laughter.
I remember one day we were in the garden, and I saw a vendor selling colorful balloons. I desperately wanted one. I ran to my aunt and asked her to buy me one.
But my aunt was very poor.
She didn't have the money for something as simple as a balloon.
Instead of just saying no, she knelt down, looked me in the eyes, and told me a story.
She said, "You know, if you hold one of those gas balloons, it's so strong it might just pull you up and you'll fly away with it." Her story was so convincing, so full of gentle concern, that from that day forward, I never asked her for a balloon again. I understood in my own childish way that she was protecting me. My grandmother was the heart of the home, a truly kind and gentle soul.
She had a special jar where she would save money, little by little, putting coins in whenever she could.
Her love for me was immense. Sometimes I'd go to her, and with a twinkle in her eye, she'd give me a coin from her savings. I'd run off to buy an ice cola, the sweet-flavored ice, or a creamy kulfi. Those were moments of pure, carefree joy. I played happily, without a worry in the world, lost in the simple pleasures of childhood. And the food?
The food my grandmother cooked was pure magic.
It was simple, humble food, but it was filled with so much love that it tasted better than anything I had ever eaten. Every meal felt like a warm hug. But even with all this love surrounding me, the nights were still the hardest. When the sun went down and the house grew quiet, the longing for my mother would return with a vengeance. I'd clutch my blinking doll tightly, feeling like an orphan adrift in a vast, unknown world.
Her love was my anchor.
And so, my story continued to unfold, one day at a time, to be continued in the next episode.
If you've enjoyed this part of my journey, please consider subscribing to the channel, A K Story Tale, to hear what happens next.